Oh, what's up you guys? Matty A back with another vlog, trying to make sense of everything that's been going on over the last few weeks. Many of us, just trying not to eat all the food in our fridge, in our cabinets like me, as well as keep my business afloat, to equip and arm myself and protect myself with the necessary tools and resources and information to keep moving the needle forward towards my goals, protect my health, my wealth, my sanity, my family, my employees, you guys. So it's some pretty trying times right now, and yet it's the people who are going on the offensive and are asking the right questions and seeking out the right information and taking all the data and filtering it accordingly, to at least just try and make the next best choice that serves you and your goals. So today, Breedwell, my co-host on Millionaire Mindcast for Wealth Building Wednesdays, is coming in. We're going to do a podcast. We're going to talk current market updates and what our opinions are and what we're seeing. And I'm going to do a little recap afterwards to give you guys just a synopsis of what I'm thinking and what I'm doing. But if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, drop me a comment below. Let me know where you're from, what you're up to, what you got going on, and let's get started with the day.
This is what Breedwell does. Pretty much anytime he's got downtime before our podcast.
Oh, get your coffee in, boy.
Yep. Oh yeah.
What's going on in the markets today? What are we talking about on the podcast?
Oh, well, everything's going back to normal. We had some capitulation in the market last week, like I was texting you about. Essentially, the markets, pretty much bottomed out. And one of two things was eventually going to happen. Either we were going to hit a bottom, or stocks were going to be on such a fire sale that big players or people like me that like to invest are going to come in and buy them because they're just so damn cheap, and everybody knows that they're going to go back up. Well, smart people know they're going to go back up.
They have to.
They have to. So market's back up. Last time I checked, 7.4% on the Dow, about 6% on the S&P, and about 6.5% on the NASDAQ. There's a hope we can get this coronavirus package passed. We need some bipartisanship going. Nancy Pelosi's presented a bill that was a little bit wild to the Senate GOP's bill. Senate GOP's is 1.8 trillion. Nancy Pelosi's was 2.5 trillion. They're kind of bashing heads right now. If we can get some rubber to the road today, though, I think that we can see, we're going to start seeing some pretty aggressive and fast market recovery, as I said 3 weeks ago.
And
hold on, my coffee.
You got coffee. And vlogging with one arm is kind of challenging, but we gonna get it done.
2 cups of coffee, $250. I got the debit card. I'll run it on it, and
we get to say what up to your beautiful face.
What up to you.
All right, well, that was pretty fun. That was a live podcast that we did on Facebook, and we had our buddy Robbie come in and bring us $250 coffees. Ryan overpaid to contribute to a good cause. But there was a lot of stuff that we covered in just the overall coronavirus update, the markets update, lending update, wealth building updates, real estate update in today's interview. So I'm gonna try and recap those real quick, the top 3 to 5 takeaways and how they impact you, or at least what I'm doing with that information right now to help equip me and arm me to continue to not only survive this time, but to thrive and go on the offensive in this time. So let's see if I can break that down in simple layman terms. Number 1, the market is somewhat stabilizing. Well, we have no idea if we're at the bottom or anywhere close to it, or if we're actually bouncing back up right now. But what we do know as of this morning is there's a lot of green on the charts, which is positive. Money moving back into the market, especially with the stimulus aid plan hopefully coming to an agreement here relatively soon today. I know they're working on it right now as we speak. I saw that NPR just released an article saying that Nancy Pelosi is optimistic that they're going to reach an agreement here today, knowing that they were somewhat far off from what the Democrats and the Republicans wanted, but that's a whole nother story that I will digress from. What we do know is there's a lot of money flooding into the market, especially from the Fed and the government, which is giving some confidence back to hopefully the consumer, most importantly, but corporations and big business and people coming back in. So that is still to be determined when and how significant that contribution and aid is gonna be. It's drastically needed, so we're gonna keep a close eye on that. The second thing that I'm really paying close attention to right now is the fact that the lending market almost felt like it froze last week with a lot of volatility in the stock market, which according to CNBC, this was the fastest 30% sell-off ever, exceeding the pace of declines during the Great Depression. So unprecedented times, and with so much dust floating around and all of the trading halts happening in the stock exchange, lenders were starting to freak out and the bond market became very illiquid. Now with the Fed pumping money back into the market, buying bonds, giving a little bit more confidence, we've obviously seen the markets respond a little bit. So that is still going to be something to pay attention to, but many lenders pulled a lot of cash off of the table and altogether stopped lending. Here's actually a little thread that I posted in one of my mastermind groups that I'm a part of with a lot of smart people who are active in the real estate sector on what are you guys seeing on the lending side. And as you can see, here are some of the comments. Residential mortgage-backed securities doing much better today. CMBS still not moving. Hopefully some stabilization later in the week. Agency lenders are slammed with refinance requests right now and are running to catch up, which I had actually heard some refi lenders are jacking their rates up due to the demand right now. Some life company deals are getting signed up, but typically lower leverage, very safe deals. So you can see that lenders are being very conservative right now as they don't really know what's going on in the market. You can see here one of my mentors, David Osborne, is asking, hey, they've been going up, they've been going down, what's going on? They've come back down. Of course, they're not at their rock bottom because of all this volatility that we saw early on in March, but much better than last week. Hard money lenders are still playing. Many of the ones that I've used or know of are starting to alter their terms a little bit or control the narrative of who they are and aren't lending to. Here's actually an email that was sent out to me by the CEO of Lending Home. So as you can see, they are trying to be very cautious and conservative, but still try and make sure that they're not completely on the sidelines. But again, it's still to be seen how this is really going to impact the mortgage industry. Here's one more article that I want you to take a look at. I'm gonna include the link to this article, but according to Bloomberg, there's a mortgage crisis too. Now, I'm gonna go out and say this is not the case. The government has acted quickly to give lenders and consumers confidence by throwing an ungodly amount of money back into the market to say, hey, we are responding to this quickly. We're gonna put as much money as we need into our economy to ensure that we don't see the ramifications that many people are concerned about. Again, I don't think we're gonna see a mortgage crisis, but then you have investors like Carl Icahn saying that one of their biggest shorts and strongest positions is in the commercial mortgage-backed industry going to complete. So we don't know what's gonna go down and how the blowback is really going to play out. But all I know is that if you can continue to stay in tune with what's going on in some of the lead dominoes, we can have a better idea of projecting where some of the lagging indicators are gonna fall. Number 3, we talked about this overall impact of what's going on with coronavirus and the government and politics and the stock market and how it is directly impacting retail and residential and commercial real estate at this stage of the game. And here's what we do know. From my own personal experience, as well as talking with many other active and seasoned real estate investors and professionals operating in today's current climate, we are immediately seeing an impact with escrows starting to fall apart or be drastically extended out from a timeline perspective to see how all of this shakes out. Where does the dust settle and what kind of game are we actually playing moving forward? So there have been many people tell me that their escrows have fallen apart with buyers talking about loss of job or income or just being uncertain and using that as an opportunity to get out of the deal. I know that my escrow on my fourplex that I'm selling fell apart because the buyer said he had a loss of income and downsizing his business and having to let go of employees, as well as the uncertainty of what's going on in the market overall, as well as seeing many other investors say that tenants are reaching out to them saying they're not going to be able to pay their rent, businesses with storefronts needing to be shut down and looking for lease and rent forbearance and getting that pushed out. So we're already seeing immediate impacts. And this is going to be something that we really want to pay attention to. If you're a real estate investor, you want to get in front of this and start reaching out to your lenders and asking for forbearances as well. Not forgiveness, but forbearance, right? And I've already been doing this on many of my properties, and lenders are responding saying, yep, we get it, we're all in this together, and yes, we're willing to grant that. As well as reach out to your tenants and get proactive and see how you can support them and help them through these challenging times, because at the end of the day, we are all in this together. Hashtag Team Human, right? And we have also seen many of the big players and the big money when it comes to buying, like iBuyers, like big institutional hedge funds, like REITs, put their buying completely on pause. So overall, the sentiment and the takeaway from our conversation today was that it's still to be seen. This impact and how deep and how far it goes is really still to be seen, because one, we're still waiting on some stimulus and aid clarity of how that's going to trickle out into the real estate market, as well as the consumers, as well as, of course, what's going to happen with the financial markets, and of course our overall health guidelines that we're going to have to be operating within as we try and contain, flatten the curve, and get this coronavirus under control. So what does this mean for you? All I can say is now is the time that you have to continue to be proactive. You got to be willing to adapt. You have to be willing to pivot and shift. You got to be doubling down on your relationships, doubling down on your masterminds, doubling down on your community, your coaches, your mentors. Now is the time to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with the people who are on the offensive and who are continuously equipping themselves with the right resources and tools, who are constantly taking action. They're in the right conversations, looking for the right opportunities, because those are going to be the people that come out of this, maybe not undamaged, we're all going to have scars from this, right? But those are going to become the people that ultimately found a way, by being proactive and taking action, getting in front of this and using it as an opportunity to thrive, not just survive, versus the people that are just waiting back, waiting for what's going to happen, and ultimately being reactive and responding. So hopefully this was informative for you guys today. Stay tuned for the next vlog. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Let me know any topics, questions, concerns you guys have or you want me to cover, and know that I'm just like you guys. I'm trying to do the best damn thing that I can to stay equipped and armed and sane and disciplined and consistent, to use this as an opportunity to come out stronger. So with that being said, Team Human, love you guys. I'll see you on the next video.